Hey, this is Todd. I just got back from doing early voting, so I wanted to do a shout out. Go and vote. Go vote early, go vote often. But I wanted to use this as an opportunity, just as I was thinking about it on my walk home from my local polling station, that the next book is coming out in the 5th edition, the Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. And you might ask yourself, well, how does this relate to voting? Well, hopefully I will get there in a way that makes some sense. Makes sense to me in my brain, but my brain sometimes works in different ways from others, so we'll see if you'll appreciate the connection that I'm trying to make. But one of the big things with Tasha's is obviously it's called the Cauldron of Everything. It's presenting a lot of rules variants, a lot of things that some people, frankly, are excited for. Some people are also looking at with a lot of consternation. But I always looked at it, and I think I covered a little bit about this earlier when I did a video looking at kind of what's the big deal with allowing orcs to be of any alignment, or half orcs, whatever it was, is the fact that the rules, and this has been this way since the beginning, but I think with new fans, just the new ways of presentation, maybe this has been lost a bit, but the rules are basically all, in a sense, optional. Now, granted, I think some people will point out, they'll say something like, well, at some point, if you change this many rules, you're not really playing D&D anymore, you're playing something else. Who cares? It doesn't matter. Unless you're playing in an Adventures League or some other type of organization where multiple people are sharing characters and sharing adventures and sharing things between tables, all you really need to care about is what your table thinks and what your table says about particular rules. So this argument that you're no longer playing D&D, who cares? Call it what you want. Find the rules, find the options, find the things that work for your game, your tables, your setting, your players, and go. But I've noticed something on Twitter, on Reddit, on Facebook. I will see these people, I will see individuals post these declarations. I run anything WotC puts out. I run all this. I run all that. And look, that's fine. I feel like there's some kind of DM measuring stick thing going on. Who's the Uber DM? Clearly, I'm the DM that plays with everything, and you're a DM that plays with a subset, so I must be doing something better than you because I can do that. It doesn't make any difference. But I think that's left some people in some kind of a little bit of a quandary because they get to Tasha's, and now suddenly they're presented with an official book with all these official options, and they've made these statements that they've kind of put themselves in their own dogmatic box of saying, well, I play anything that WotC puts out. So now what do I do with Tasha's that may have a bunch of stuff that I don't want in it? Well, get out of the box. The box has no lid. The box has no sides. You're only in a box because you put you in there. There is nothing sacred about a particular set of rules. You are not a better DM than somebody else because you decide to play with everything versus someone who decides to play with a small subset. Don't feel the need just because you've made some statement to yourself or on Facebook or Twitter or somewhere saying, I proudly play with all the rules. That means you have to play with all the rules going forward. Tasha's will probably change the game for a lot of people. For some people, it's going to be good. For some people, it's going to be bad. But the point is, for any particular table, it only need to affect your game as much as you want it to. And by the way, this doesn't just go for Tasha's. This goes for any supplement or even any core book. The DMG presents some options, changing things if you want to. I think maybe it's said explicitly somewhere. Maybe it used to be said pretty explicitly, and there's quotes from Gygax talking about it, and maybe it's more implied, but if the DMG has options to change things, then you as a GM should feel free to change things. Obviously, run everything by your players. Don't just change things willy-nilly. Don't just bait and switch people because you find something you don't like. Take it, look at it democratically, put it before the table, see what works. But the point is that anything is changeable. Anything is malleable. Don't look just because it's in Tasha's or just because it's in Xanathar's or just because it's in the PHB that somehow you must use it. The rules form a good baseline, and look, you could go back to just the basic rules PDF that you could print out from WotC, which is even more, has less things going on than a PHP, and run that as your core, and then just add things in a modular way if you want to, right? The rules are there to really do what you want to, and yes, while they want to present a core experience, and yes, it's good to know those rules and kind of have them in mind, because if you go to someone else's house to play the game, or if you go to a gaming store to play, or you go somewhere outside your table, yeah, there's a certain set that you probably want to be familiar with. That's going to form the baseline of most games, but still change it. However you want to do. Don't feel like you have to take Tasha's because it's got Wizards of the Coast printed on it, or because it's official, or because of whatever reason. Look at each one of the options it presents and use it if it's good for your game. Now, if you want to use everything, go ahead, use everything. But don't feel like you have to. Look at your setting, look at your table, look at your players, put it before them, have that vote, play what you want to play. Talk to you later.